Hi, Bravehearts. Thanks for joining us for the Pelvic Restoration for Men and Women live Q&A with myself, Lorraine, and I've got my co-host here, Cheryl. We're very excited to come on board here, and today our topic is ovarian cysts.
Yes, it is. You know, Lorraine, I went looking for some statistics on ovarian cysts, and there wasn't a lot because less than 1% of ovarian cysts ever turn into cancer. So this is why there's not a whole lot of statistics out there. So maybe 7%, depending on your location, to 21% of women actually have an ovarian cyst at any time during their lifetime. I know for myself, I haven't had one, or I wasn't aware that I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way that when I looked at it, it said that a lot of them either just go away on their own, or they're just they don't bother you.
Yeah.
But I know I had ovarian cysts. I had just gotten pregnant with my son. And at that first examination, they found something, and I had to go and get some more tests done, and I had ovarian cyst. And as soon as I gave birth, I was back in the hospital to get it removed.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the only thing that you could do back then, was remove it rather than find a healthy, natural way for it to get rid of itself.
Exactly. Exactly. You go with what you know, and unfortunately, I was dealing with the medical system, and that was their answer.
That and numb out the pain. So one of the things that their first go-to is, oh, well, let's just take something to get rid of the pain so you can no longer hear what your body's trying to tell you, which is that, there's some discomfort, some inflammation down there, and giving us actual, real medical help or health help to get us back on track.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So a cyst is a fluid-filled sac in or on the ovary. And the size is usually a cherry size, but some can get a lot bigger.
Wow.
And
And I
risk,
imagine, depending on the location of where they are, would actually decide the level of pain or discomfort that you would be feeling. Yeah.
yes, yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, I remember with me, I had heavy periods all my life, all my all the time that I had a period. It was always a heavy period. So, and was I constipated? You bet I was, especially when I got pregnant, especially when I got pregnant. So, not that I was taking anything for the constipation, I just upped the amount of fiber. And I didn't know that drinking, good structured water was a thing back then. I was just drinking tap water.
There you go. Or people would use coffee as a way to go to the bathroom. If you get
Yeah.
constipated at all, you drank coffee. I had the exact opposite experience with my menstrual cycles. They were also heavy. They were 10 days long every month. So you can imagine it felt like I was on my period more than I was off. And it would actually loosen my bowels. So that every time it was like I looked forward to my periods because everything got flushed out.
Well, and that's kind of what your period's doing anyways, right?
Right?
It's
Yep.
flushing out all that the inner lining to make a new, so that it can prepare itself for hosting a brand new soul, right?
Yes, indeed.
That's what it's doing, and it's really unfortunate that we've lost the connection between the younger women and the older women. Where the older women were the wise women, and we would get together and we'd educate the young women and, hold their hand as they progress through different things, and nurture them rather than making them feel um, different, awkward, ashamed of what's going on, right?
Absolutely. And
Embarrassed. Embarrassed.
Embarrassed. Exactly. Can you imagine at school if you accidentally started your period and it showed through your pants? It was like mortifying rather than, oh, honey, it looks like it's that time of month again. I got some extra supplies at the nurse's office. There was no, I mean, it was always so horrifying that you would get caught being a woman going through a normal cycle.
Exactly.
When I
Exactly.
think of how it used to be, when I read about American Indians, especially, it was such a sacred time, and they considered women to be open to spirit and to be in they honored them with a separate tent where other women would come and serve them and care for them, because during this time they are as close to Mother Earth as you can get, and how did we lose that? Even back in the 1700s, there would be rooms in a house for a woman to go during her cycle, to be left alone, to have time to be with that process instead of having to, as today, suck it up, go to work, get your stuff in, take your pain meds, plow through it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's truly, we have let go of our femininity. We have
Yes.
just let it go with women going back to women being introduced to the work cycle rather than being home and nurturing the kids and taking care of them and taking care of the house and planting the gardens and doing all that. We've pulled away from that because that wasn't considered productive. It
Right.
just
Well,
wasn't.
and with our world, I think even today there are a lot of women who wish they could stay home and play that nurturing role, and they're in a position where they are required to work.
They don't
And
have a choice
and
anymore.
even then, when they're required to work, they're not treated as women in the work field. They're expected to show up as men. They're expected to be able to physiologically and everything be a man if you want to work here and compete, where there's no appreciating and honoring both genders and
Yeah,
what each brings to the table, you know?
exactly. We've really lost that. And it's not that women are any better or any worse than men. You
No,
know, we have our gifts, which are different. That's all.
that's
That's
it.
all. And we need to honor both sides. So risk factors here. What I found out was infertility treatment. That is a risk for getting ovarian cysts.
Huh. Well, I
Um,
would think so for the extra amount of hormones that are being pumped into your system, and they tend to be hormonally. There's hormonal reasons for them to appear, is what I read as well.
yeah, pregnancy can be another risk factor right in the second trimester, and that is because of the FCG level peak. Um, Babies can be born with cyst, and it's because of the hormones of the mother.
Wow.
Cigarette smoking and tubal ligation can cause cysts too, and that makes sense to me.
Yes.
You know,
The flow is stopped.
exactly. That natural flow has been put to a halt pretty darn quick there. The
Indeed.
different causes, they're saying that it's more hormonal causes than anything else. So
Yes.
puberty, pregnancy, and menopause, way up there. Um, they're usually benign, rarely cause any problem, and often need no treatment. I know we were talking earlier, and I mentioned that I remember going into the hospital because I had so much pain in the pelvic area. And they did a bunch of tests, and they gave me some morphine or something like that to numb me out. And I spent the night, and by the time the medication wore off, I felt fine. And they said, you probably just had a cyst that burst. You know, so they're
And
not,
that is the process, by the way, when they say that they come and go, is that it does fill up, and it's kind of, I don't want to say it's an internal pimple, but it sort of just pops itself. The body reabsorbs it, and you didn't even know, like you said,
yeah,
unless I would say in a location that if it was in the fallopian tube and it was stretching the walls, and before it popped, it'd be like that awful, like you just want to get there and pop that thing, and you just don't. But the pressure buildup, I'm assuming, is what causes the intense pain until it does either reabsorb or burst.
Yeah, yeah. So treatment, they said if it's mild, they usually wait and see.
Yeah.
If it's painful, then they can give you some painkillers like ibuprofen or non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. And
Birth
they can put you
control.
on birth control. And I believe the birth control is got to do with the hormones, right? You get rid of
Exactly.
hormones and things start to change. And not that that's a good thing. I mean, it may affect the cysts, but it's adversely affecting that woman, you
Well,
know.
and every woman has a different experience with birth control pills. And, I was young when I first got out of the house. There wasn't a whole lot taught to you about, you know, what to do. And so I thought, I'm going to go get on birth control pills myself. And I find the very lowest dose or whatever it was because of my heavy periods. And I went on birth control pills and didn't have a period for 30 days, and it freaked me out. So I went off the birth control pills and had a period for a solid month. And I went, okay, I'm not messing with my body anymore.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. If they're getting bigger, then a laparoscopy would be done. So an exploratory just to see what's going on there, and then possibly surgery.
But the problem
And
with doing surgery or those laparoscopy is that it then can actually initiate more cyst growth because the body's then responding to being, like
yeah,
open, attacked. It doesn't
yeah,
see it. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And quite often with surgery, they remove the ovaries, quite often both, and sometimes the uterus. And that can lead to a sudden drop in hormones, which again causes more problems,
That's right.
let alone the fact that you just had surgery. You know, surgery is needed when we are in an emergency situation.
Yes.
All these other things, we really have to come to terms with why these things happened. So when we look at cysts, so it's a sac of fluid is what the medical system is saying, but it's a sac of pus, like what Cheryl was saying, like a pimple. And it's there for a reason. Um, the large intestine is the number one domino to fall. And when that happens, you end up having little holes in the large intestine, and then anything that's transitioning through falls into the pelvic bowl. Well, the ovaries are right there. They're right there. So if you're creating a manure pile, now your ovaries are sitting in that. Are they going to get a little infected?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think so. So it's just being aware of the cycles that your body is naturally going through, and then how to help get back to being healthy. And we know that getting yourself on a perfect day protocol. That's number one. Start doing a plant-based whole food diet, raw and fresh as much as you can. If you can get to like 80-90%, that's a goal. But it's baby steps in the right direction. If you're having cooked food morning, noon, and night, well, you're not going to transition very quickly. You're going to go slowly, because if you bite off too much, it's going to be overwhelming and you're not going to do it. You're going to say, this doesn't work.
So start with one meal a day. Make it the easiest meal for you. And like some people are usually rushed in the morning, it's really easy to eat something fresh and raw in the morning before you take off, or make yourself a delicious shake with all kinds of wonderful raw foods that you can drink on your way to work. And even more important as we're doing all of this is to stay hydrated. You know, Women, men, everybody, don't drink enough structured water to actually hydrate your body, to help flush all that stuff out. So instead of the body having to encapsulate it and turn it into a cyst or something else, or we have boils, we have everything that our body's trying to do to encapsulate those toxins, that waste that doesn't belong there. And so when we're drinking and flushing and doing our daily, coffee enemas, which we're all going to talk about today, there are absolute steps that you can take as a woman and a man to take your health back. And one of the biggest misnomers is about menopause. Like some things, sometimes as soon as you go through menopause, then you have no more hormones. Everything is going to be nothing but trouble. And, that's a bunch of bull hockey. I mean, the truth is, I have been in menopause for 10 years and I've never felt more vibrant, healthy, with more energy. And when I had my hormones levels tested, they couldn't believe how high my hormone levels were. Because when you start eating the right food and you're supporting your body, it's going to get back to that regulated state where it's going to maintain the amount of hormones you need. Not as many as needing to make babies, because that ship has sailed. Not that I don't have 4 gorgeous sons, but it's like it was a celebration for me when I hit menopause, because like you, having heavy menstrual cycles that started at 10 and ended at 55, it was like, it felt like most of my life. So yeah, it was a party that happened.
Yeah. Yeah. And, we should be able to gracefully go through menopause. We
Yes.
should have really no symptoms that are kicking us in the butt. We might be a little bit tired and maybe we have to, no, nowadays we definitely have to take nutraceuticals because we can't get through it on our own. But the black gold, it's going to balance hormones. It's going to
Yes.
balance your hormones. That's one of the things it does. It's going to balance your weight. So if you need to lose weight, you lose weight. If you need to gain weight, you gain weight. It's going to supply good micro nutrients to the good microbiome. The microbiome your mother gave you. This is the one we need to support. So a lot of people reach for prebiotics and probiotics, and probiotics they're foreign to the body. Yes, in a pinch, they're going to help. But it's better if we can support what our mother gave us, and get that to flourish. And that's what the black gold does. Black gold works only in the digestive tract, and it takes about 2 days to transition out. And while it's there, it's getting rid of viruses, bad bacteria, fungus, parasites. It's grabbing onto 600 times its weight in heavy metals, encapsulates it, and escorts it out the body. And it's going to repair the gut lining. So
Yes.
all the little holes that the fungus made, and you get more fungus when you're not eating properly, when you're under stress, when you're not chewing properly, when you're not food combining properly. All those things count because when you're eating too much.
Exactly.
That'll make your digestion slow down, and when it slows down, it starts to churn, and then your belly starts to explode. It starts to distend, right? And then your belly doesn't feel so good. So we've got to come back to taking care of these bodies and really loving these bodies and understanding how they work.
I agree. And
Yeah,
so is this where I get to plug the perfect day guide?
you
Because,
bet.
all right. So there is a wonderful book out called The Perfect Day Guide that was written by Dr. Darrell Wolfe. And it is absolutely free to everybody on the planet. You go to pdgfree.com, put in your email, and they will send
There,
you the perfect day guide.
there
Yay!
it is.
I
And
refer to this all the time. So I had to buy my own book as well. As you can see, just like her, I have my book too. Because when I want to educate my clients, I'm going to be able to take this book and read it, and I don't have to memorize everything black gold does, because there are pages of information about how black gold, is used in the body and how easy it is to take. In your shakes, I make it in my Power Ultimate coffees in the morning. I put it in my enema coffee. I mean, there's so many different ways to get this into your body to keep yourself absolutely clean. So again, go to pdgfree.com, get yourself a free guide, or go to the docadetox.com//store and get a hard copy for yourself.
Or if you're in the Calgary area, I have copies. Ta-da! You can just give me a
I do as well if you're in Northern California and you don't want to wait for it to come in the mail.
There you go. So you don't have to get them shipped. You can just ring our doorbell and we'll hand them to you. Well, for a price.
That's right. And for me, there's 3 things that I would tell people if you wanted to start with baby steps, that these are the things you absolutely want to have in your arsenal, starting with daily cleansing tea. Okay? The daily cleansing tea, 2 tea bags, you guys, makes an entire gallon of this amazing tea. So it tastes delicious. You drink a half a cup in the morning and a half a cup at night. I actually do more because I actually just love how it tastes and it doesn't affect my body in a negative way. For some people who are really, really inflamed, then you might start with a smaller amount because you check to see how much it loosens the bowels. You don't want to have diarrhea, and it doesn't have any asacara in it or anything like that that would create diarrhea. It would just be that it's so amazing at what it does that if you have a lot of toxins and it starts flushing too fast, your body's response is to have diarrhea. So then you would want to just take it back a little bit, go to a quarter cup, start building it up until you can get to half a cup twice a day. And it really does flush your body. It's going to flush your organs, right? It's going to flush for us. As I look down here, see, I get to cheat by looking at it. It's flushing your liver, your kidneys, your lungs, the large intestines, and your lymph and bloodstream. So
there you go.
Magic. And we're talking so inexpensive and affordable for something that you want to put into your body. And then we already talked about the black gold, which is available. And then, of course, the black diamond. So the big difference between black gold and black diamond is that the black diamond is a nano-sized. So it can actually cross the blood barrier, membrane barrier. That's right. So it's actually not just getting in through the intestine, it's actually getting into your blood and taking all that same toxins and parasites and fungus and yeast and flushing it out of your body. And it takes it back through that barrier and out through the elimination process it goes. So also really magical. Anything else you want to add about black diamond?
Well, it works in the bloodstream, like you said, and it's small enough to cross that blood-brain barrier. So it gets rid of viruses, bad bacteria, fungus, and parasites. It grabs onto 600 times its weight in heavy metals, encapsulates it, and escorts it out the body. And when we think of heavy metals in the brain, that's more mercury and aluminum. And aluminum, we've got the chemtrails, we've got pollution, we've got we're bombarded. We're just bombarded. I think of how many people I can remember as a child who had Alzheimer's, and it wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing. But now, and then it shifted that maybe 70 and 80-year-olds would be having like early onset. And now we're seeing 50-year-olds. And we've got to question, okay, why is this happening? Right? It's because we're in a toxic world and we have to take care of our body. We cannot do it just with food. We can't. 75 years ago, yes, we could do it. Not now, because we are not getting the energy, the vibration from the fruits and vegetables that we eat now. We would have to eat a ton of tomatoes to get what we used to get from one tomato.
That's right.
It just doesn't work that way anymore. We are at that point where if we do not supplement, we do not use nutraceuticals, because we used to be able to use supplements too, and we can't. It doesn't touch it. We need high vibrational nutraceuticals, and that's what we have with the Doc Detox. There's no fillers, there's no additives, there's no negative side effects. You
No
know,
chemicals.
on the commercials when you've got high blood pressure and they're telling you the latest greatest thing for high blood pressure. Well, there's a plethora of side
Symptoms.
effects, and usually the last one is death. I don't know about you, but I'm not buying that. You know, so let's take care of things the way that Mother Nature would. And the Black Gold, Black Diamond Daily Cleansing Tea. Those are the flagship products. If
Yes.
nothing else, start there, put yourself on that perfect day protocol. You are going to be blown away how good you feel.
And here's the truth. In our world with the fast food, and even when you go to a fast food and you think because I ordered a salad, it was any good, they don't use any organic products. And so you're not just, I mean, sure, thank goodness it's lettuce or tomatoes or whatever, but then you're ingesting all kinds of pesticides and everything else that went into that salad. So does it mean taking time for self-love, to spend a little time on your Sunday to prepare food for yourself for the week so that you are eating healthy? It does, because only you know that you've cleaned your vegetables, that you're eating organic, and that you're taking care of yourself. And and a lot of people tell me that they can't afford to eat inorganic. But I'm here to tell you, if you actually kept track of all the money that you spent at a fast food place or a cup of coffee or going out, you will have found that you had a week's worth of salad making money right there to do organic food. I mean, you just have to change our mindset. And of course, what I want to say when you're doing those three flagships and you're on that perfect day protocol, you want to incorporate the ultimate coffee enema, because you want to support your body when it is flushing out all these toxins to help it along so that you don't get tired and you don't get those flu-like symptoms, especially if you've got a lot of inflammation and you're just starting this journey. So can we talk about that ultimate coffee enema?
You bet. So the ultimate coffee enema. You're going to use the Daka Detox green coffee. And I remember answering the phone and someone saying, I really love the products. I decided to try the Daka Detox coffee. I don't like the taste. Like, I just don't like it. Is it something, it's an acquired taste? And I would just be laughing and saying, OMG, you're putting it in the wrong end. It's not meant to be drank.
It
And
is green coffee.
it is a green coffee. Yeah. And green coffee has actually more caffeine in it. A dark roast coffee has less
Less
caffeine in it.
caffeine.
And when the coffee hits the hepatic portal, which is only about 2 inches above the rectum, it has a direct line into the liver. When
Yes.
it hits the liver, it puts the liver on hyperdrive and it starts to produce antioxidants like glutathione. Oh, there's two other ones, but whatever, antioxidants on hyperdrive. Now, when you can hold that coffee in for 3 minutes, did you know that it takes 3 minutes for your entire blood system to go through the liver? And you're doing a coffee enema, and the liver is producing and detoxifying and supporting on hyperdrive. Like,
Yes.
this is an amazing thing. And if you can hold it for 6 minutes, your blood's gone through twice. If you can hold it 9, 3 times. If you can hold it 12, you've gone 4 times. You don't need to hold it any longer than that. It's time to get up and you can expel it. So when you're making your ultimate coffee enema, you're going to put the coffee grounds and some black gold into the coffee as you boil it. And then once you've got the boiling done, you're going to strain it and cool it down with some more structured water. And at that point, if you have some black diamond, you could add some black diamond in there. If you don't have black diamond and you've got tummy love, you can add some tummy love in there. And these things are just going to help support the detoxification process. we are teaching people the best ways to get healthy without any cuts, without any need for prescription drugs. This really is the better way. Coffee enemas used to be done on everybody who went into the hospital, and then
Yeah,
they stopped. And quite often, when you went into the hospital and you had a coffee enema, you were going out because you felt so much better,
yeah,
because it'll take down a fever. And because it's cleaning your blood on hyperdrive, you know, you just changed. You just changed your whole body um, symbiotic balance into a higher one.
yes. And the truth is, they've actually taken what used to be a very common procedure on babies and adults and now turned it into something bad for you. Like, you can't do those enemas because then you won't be able to go to the bathroom on your own. You'll become addicted to enemas. And I'm thinking to myself, it is the craziest information out there. And I look at moms today who I have a granddaughter who was really sick and she had a high fever. And I said, we need to do a little enema on her. And the mother looked at me like I was growing horns out of my head. And I said, I'm telling you, it will give her relief. Aren't you tired of being up every 2 hours at night? So she let me give her this cute, little enema, got everything flowing again. And it was like night and day. The child almost immediately stopped crying because besides having a fever and everything else, her poor little intestines were dried up. She wasn't nursing because she couldn't breathe. So, she was getting more and more dehydrated. And so this was like relief. It's like, thank you, Nana.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, an easy thing to be doing, and it'll bring the body's energy level back up. You'll feel much, much better. I mean, yes, if you have stage 4 inflammation, this is going to be a protocol you're going to be doing once, maybe twice a day,
Yes.
because you're in that 20-foot hole. If we tell you just to do it once a week, well, that's not going to be enough for you.
No.
So just know that these are protocols that I generally tell people when I counsel them to, and they've got, not stage 4 inflammation. They've got some aches and pains and some other things are starting to crop up. If you could do this once a day for, say, 3 weeks, and then give your body a rest for a week or two, and then come back to it and do another 3 weeks, and then give your body a rest, and then maybe cut it down and not doing it every day, doing it maybe 3 times a week, and then maybe cutting it down a bit more and going just to twice a week and maybe just once a week until you've got no symptoms. And then if you do feel like your body is run down, then it's time to do one.
Yes.
It's just an easy, beautiful thing when you are aware of what's happening in the body, right?
It's true. And if you imagine if you're not going to the bathroom, the amount of toxins that are building up in your system with nowhere to go but to leach back into your bloodstream and affect all of your organs, which is why you're so tired. And you wonder
Exactly.
why you can't do anything. I just go, get in there and give yourself an enema, hun.
Yeah. Well, you've got to understand that a normal bowel movement is 6 to 7 inches long. It should float. It shouldn't sink. It
Right.
should be about this thick. It shouldn't stink. If it's stinking, it's because whatever's coming out had putrefied, you
Yes.
know? So we've got to understand that. And as you're getting constipated, it is pulling the moisture from that poop. And that's why it comes out like a little rabbit turd rather than a 7 inch long this round. Your body
Right.
just reabsorbed all that toxins that were supposed to be going out.
That's right. And
Yeah,
when you actually educate yourself and you think about it, I would run, not walk to the nearest enema bucket. And of
yes.
course, The other amazing thing that you can do for yourself as men and women are the vaginal and anal infusions. And I have been doing them now, and I have to tell you, it has changed my life as far as the healthy tissue, the moisture, the muscle retention. I mean, for something as simple as these amazing nutraceuticals that we can, it's a very relaxing thing to do infusions, means you get to take 15 minutes out of your day or 20 minutes and actually just take it to yourself. Sit down. I mean, I'm laying on my bed and I can either listen to music or I'll read a book, but it's 15, it doesn't take long. And in the Perfect Day Guide, it actually has the whole thing there for you, what to put in, how much, and how to do it. And these are all things that are available at the Doc of Detox. And, and Lorraine can go into more detail. She's been teaching this and doing this for a while.
And a lot of people say, well, you know what? I don't have everything. Well, guess what? If you've got the silver bullet gel, you can use that.
Right.
And it's going to be beneficial. The more things that we can add into that, the more angles we're coming at everything. So if we can do the whole thing, absolutely. But if all you've got is that silver gel and that's all that you can afford, then start with that.
Yes.
You are going to benefit from it. So in the Perfect Day Guide, there's a list of how you can make it and how you can mix it and instructions on how to do it. I'm not going to go into that, but it's just supporting the tissues, detoxifying the body, repairing, and helping to tone things so
Yes.
that you do have that pelvic floor muscle tone that you had lost maybe during childbirth.
Yes.
Or because of the pooping in your pelvis. And of course, you're cleaning that up. You're detoxifying, and you're cleaning up your diet so you're not introducing more of that. It's just baby steps in the right direction. And for gentlemen, if you've got something going on and you've got low back pain, or maybe you've had to have a couple of vertebrae fused together because they said they were deteriorating, or maybe you need a hip replacement, or maybe you've got incontinence, or maybe you've got an enlarged prostate, you have been pooping in your pelvis. It's no different than women. It's exactly the same thing. So you have to, in order for you to benefit from rectal infusion, you have to do the ultimate coffee enema first, because we've got to make some room for that to sit and soak. And if there's a bowel movement just just sitting there at the back door, we're not going to get very far with the infusion. So you've got to be able to do both. And you're going to feel so much better afterwards. So get over yourself. Just do it. I remember, I started doing coffee enemas years before I met Daryl. And I had that darn coffee, that bucket, probably for about a month, looking at me before I actually got up the nerve to do it. But once I did it, you know what? It wasn't so bad. And, it's just,
well, the benefits.
how much do you want to get healthy?
Right.
And
how much better you feel after you actually do it.
Yes.
And I also wanted to say, you can make it fun. So my husband saw me doing the vaginal infusions for a long time, and and I kept telling him it would really benefit him for him to do it as well. And so finally, he did a little reading of his own, and he goes, "Well, can we do it together?"
A great idea.
So we go our separate bathrooms and do our coffee enemas, and then we meet back in the bedroom. And I got our little thrones of pillows for our hips, and we just sat there side by side because it's not that difficult. And it was fun. And we just sat there and had a lovely conversation with each other because, you're husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend. You've seen each other naked, let's be clear.
Exactly.
This is now our weekly gift. This is our weekly routine that we do together on Sundays. It's really cute.
Awesome. So Sunday is self-care day.
It is. It's self-care day at my house.
Awesome. Awesome. And you can go to the DocaDetoxLibrary.com and start doing your own research.
Yes,
Things like Highway to Health, Holy Crap. For women, I Am Woman. There is so much information in that library. Start doing your own research. Start looking at what spikes your interest. But for any pelvic problems, that Highway to Health is gonna let you know how the body really works. Holy Crap is, all about the large intestine. And just learn, just be a sponge and understand how these bodies work. And your body hasn't forgotten how to heal. It's this thing here has forgotten that the body can heal.
exactly. And who wants to go into the sometimes the very best time of our lives? We're done raising our children. We get to enjoy our grandchildren. We get to travel. I mean, I started a whole new career. It was like, why not? Because I still feel young. I still feel vibrant. I am completely pain free. I have no aches and pains in any joint or any part of my body. And when I do get something, I'm immediately going to respond to this loving little communication device I'm going through the world with. I think Daryl calls it our meat suit.
Me too. Yeah.
I kind of like Avatar better. I'm taking better care of my avatar because I want to be 100 with just this kind of energy, with all of my faculties. And I'm going to continue to reverse the aging. I'm going to continue to keep the inflammation down because that's what ages your body. Inflammation is going to age your body, starting with every cell. But there are so many resources out there right now, and especially with the DACA detox. Educate yourself, like Lorraine said. Really be your own advocate. Learn how to self-love again and take care of yourself, and then pass it on.
Exactly. Be that shining light for your family so
Yes.
that they can see, what, if you can do it. I know I live with my daughter and her family, and my grandson told me yesterday, he said he was really proud of me and what I'm doing. And he's 21. And I thought, it's just being you and being the best you that you can be. That's what we all want. We want to be able, like Cheryl said, to be pain free and live quality of life, not just live life, but live quality. I want to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
You and me both.
So the only way we can get there is by taking care of these beautiful bodies. And when we do that, they respond perfectly. They do the healing. All we got to do is give them what it needs on physical, emotional, and spiritual. We need it all. We need it all. You can't be lacking one. So definitely you want to create that perfect day for the rest of your life. And again, you can download that perfect day manual, pdgfree.com.
And then I'd like to say that for those who could physically attend a pelvic restoration and dis-ease prevention class, you want to take it because there's reading and all that, but then there's something that happens when we have an actual experience, when we're there. And so Lorraine and I are going to be teaching these pelvic restoration classes going forward. And the very last one in the United States is going to be in Stuart, Florida, and that's June 28th, 29th, and 30th. And so I really encourage everybody and anybody, especially if you're localized and you're in that area and you've ever wondered how you can take back your personal power and become your own advocate, especially for pelvic restoration. Women, you need to get there and you need to sign up. You can go to bhn.com.
Yeah.
Is that correct? And then you'll go down and you'll click on pelvic restoration. You'll see Stuart, Florida. I do believe that there's one happening sooner, or has it already happened in Calgary?
No, it's June 7th, 8th, and 9th. So that's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday here in Calgary. And yes, you can go to braveheartnation.com or bhnuniversity.com. Either one is it'll take you to the same page. And you can look at the pelvic restoration and disease prevention master classes. So, like Cheryl said, the one in Stewart, the end of June, the one in Calgary, the beginning of June, and August, we're in Coffs Harbor, the end of August, and then we're in Ixtapa, Mexico, the beginning of November.
All right. I really
And
wish I could. I want everyone to be there. And then once I finish this, I'm hoping that between the two of us, we'll bring some to the Western United States. We'll get into California. We'll do some classes where we can reach as many women as possible.
yeah, and just know that you know what? If there is a group of ladies together, we'll come to you.
Yes.
Come to you. You know, if you've got a group of friends and everybody wants to take this course, you could host it and we'll come to you. And if you are shy to come to a class, but want one of us to teach you personally, that could be something we could do too. So
Yes.
just know that we're doing the best that we can to get the information out to you. And I know the first class that I took, it blew me away how disconnected I was to the pelvic area.
Yes.
It was for carrying babies and pleasing my husband. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. I had no connection there. There was no me there. Yeah, but just know when you can come back fully to the body, especially women, because we've got more bells and whistles, we've got more things going awry. Men, it's not quite as many, but they still have things happening down there. So
That's
we want to
true.
be able to take care of these beautiful bodies. So attending pelvic restoration and disease prevention masterclass where you're in with a group of women and we do healing circles every single day. We'll spend about half hour 45 minutes in a healing circle and that's where we do the sharing, and there's so much love that happens.
Yes, and it brings back what a lot of us have lost in our lives, and that is community with women. Realizing that we really are the greatest advocates for each other, and you really get to feel that. To be in a room with that much feminine energy is so healing. In and of itself, it's healing. And by the end of the weekend, nobody wants to go home. It's like we just want to stay cuddled up in a giant, hug, because we don't get it in our normal everyday lives, that level, that amount of time together.
Yeah,
So it has so many benefits.
yeah. And I also have to mention that in Ixtapa Zihuatanejo, we have the 5-star World Healing and Training Retreat. And it is an amazing retreat
Yes.
where you can book. It could be just you and your family. It could be you and your coworkers. It could be you and your spouse. Maybe the two of you want to learn, how to do the non-surgical and how to create that perfect day. It could be maybe you're a young couple and you want to have the best pregnancy ever, or maybe you were told you were infertile and you just know deep in your heart that there's got to be a way, and there is the pain-free pregnancy. You might go down to Ixtapa to experience that and get all the information and learn how to, number one, take care of these beautiful bodies and detoxify them and start supporting them and clean not just the outer house, so get rid of the chemicals that you're bringing in the house, but also the inner house. This house that's going to house that beautiful baby as it grows. There are so many women who can't carry babies.
Yeah.
And you've got to start wondering, okay, why is this happening? It's more and more. Every single dis-ease in the body has gotten worse over the last 50 years. Where we saw it very rarely 50 years ago, we are seeing populations of people. You know,
Yes.
and it's because we're living in this toxic world. So
And we
definitely,
and we can reverse it. This is what people need to know. And I know down at you go to dod5star.com, you can go down there and get a juice fast. You can go down there and do an advanced water fast. I mean, you're going to be guided while you're there. You're going to be pampered. You're going to stay in one of the most beautiful places that Dr. Daryl Wolf has created. I've seen the pictures. They look absolutely stunning. There's a saltwater pool you can hang out with when you're in between your treatments, and you're not that far from the beach. I mean, it's such a gorgeous location, and you are living it's simple. It's not full of cars and smog and busyness. It's like you just turn down the speed. You go from 78 to 33.
exactly, exactly.
And
You
your
turn down
whole
the speed.
yeah, your whole body just starts to relax, and then you're like, oh yeah, this is normal. That's your normal. Normal was supposed to be that way, not running at Mach speed, trying to do 75 things at once, as though if we didn't accomplish all of those, there's something wrong with us. So
Yeah.
yes, take some
And
time out, treat yourselves. This is a real vacation. You want something that you'll remember for the rest of your life? You want to retreat down in Ixtapa, Mexico.
exactly. And just know that, you give Dr. Wolf a call and he will arrange to have whatever you need. So like Cheryl said, if you just want to go down for some relaxation and a getaway, they're going to provide what it is that you want on a daily basis. Or, like she said, an advanced water fast, or maybe a juice fast. Or maybe you just want to learn the perfect day. Or maybe you want to learn the perfect day and maybe some non surgical. Maybe you want to use the energy medicine. There's so much available there. And the fact that you're that close to the ocean, you're,
Yes.
you're like a 5 minute walk. Maybe it's 10 minutes, but it's not far. And you could be visiting that ocean and just taking in that beautiful the the sand for a sand scrub, and swimming in the salt water, and just really loving your body. And that's what we need to do.
I
That's what
can't.
we need to do.
I can't wait to go myself. I'm going to be there in October, November.
Awesome. Awesome. And just know that if you can't make it to us, Dr. Sage Wolf is traveling the world. If you've got a group of colleagues, he'll come to you. If you've got you and your husband, he'll come to you. Whatever it looks like. So you can call the toll-free number, 1-855-900-4544, extension 5. That is to Dr. Daryl Wolf. And you can contact him on WhatsApp at his US number. So if you're in the US, you can use this number directly, or anywhere in the world. It is 1-469-861-9454.
I like it.
And yeah, so our next whole life coach certification is in Stewart, Florida, starting June the 5th, and then Coffs Harbour, Australia, August 7th, and then Ixtapa, Mexico, October the 17th. So it always goes the whole life coach, the Wolf non-surgical, and then followed by the pelvic restoration and disease prevention masterclass for women. It's women only for that one. And just know that we have dropped the prices by about 30%. And if you're Canadian, you pay in Canadian money. If you're American, you pay in US dollars. If you're Australian, you pay in Australian money. So we're doing our best to get this information out. And I think that's about all we need to talk. Oh, you know what? Every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, there is the Doc Talk live Q&A, and that is on Telegram, Rumble, Facebook, Twitter, which is X, TikTok, and Instagram. So if you have any questions for the doc, this is where you can address them.
And Lorraine and I will be on every Monday, or I will be on with Lorraine every other Monday, or could be every Monday depending on availability. So
Exactly.
that's right. At 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 5 o'clock Eastern Time. And then every other week, if they're available, it could be Dr. Sage Wolf or Dr. Dara Wolf. But yes,
That'll
every
join
single
me. That's
Monday,
right.
that's
Yeah.
there for you.
Yeah. So we like to end by saying the Braveheart Oath.
Shall we say it together?
Sure. I am
I am
love.
love. I
I
am
am healed.
healed.
I am
I am Braveheart.
today
Today and
and
every
every day
day,
from
from
the
the
moment
moment
I
I
rise
rise until
until I
I
gently
gently close
close
my
my eyes.
I will. I know it's hard.
It's
I
hard to
will.
do it together.
I will trust, honor, respect, protect, forgive, and totally love myself first and foremost before anyone else or anything else. So help me God. Lorraine?
Because I am. I can. I am love. I am healed. I'm Braveheart.
3, 2, 1, ladies. You got
We
this.
got this. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Lorraine.